Imagine a land where the morning mist clings to emerald valleys, where the sound of prayer flags fluttering in the wind replaces the noise of city horns, and where rivers roar not just with water but with untold stories of mountains older than memory. This is Bhutan, a kingdom that does not exist on the map but thrives in the imagination of anyone who dreams of nature untouched and life unhurried. Most countries introduce themselves of the world with skyscrapers, highways and shopping malls. But Bhutan greets you with silence, serenity and the fragrance of pine carried on Himalayan winds. As your plane descends into Paru Valley, one of the most dramatic airports on earth, the sight of snow-capped peaks give you a way to forested slopes, and the very first glimpse tells you something unusual. Here, nature does not bow to human ambition bows to nature. Bhutan is often called the Last Shangri-La, but even that phrase feels too simple for what you encounter here. It is not just about untouched mountains or pristine rivers. It is about philosophy of life, where nature is not serenity but spirit, not background but heartbeat. Every trail that winds into its forest feels like an invitation to listen, and every stream that trickles down its valleys feels like a reminder that life can flow gently without ever losing strength. In a world where progress often means destruction, Bhutan has chosen another way. Its constitution demands that at least 60% of the land must remain forested for all time. And today, over 70% of its terrain is still wrapped in green. This is not a static view. Here, in global conference, it is a lived reality for farmers who work in their rice terraces, for monks who meditate under ancient cypress trees, and for eggs grazing under a sky so white it seems to hold eternity. But Bhutan's uniqueness is not just in its policies, it is in its soul. Here, mountains are not simply masses of rocks and ice. They are deities, protectors, and storytellers. Rivers are not merely channels of water. They are living beings believed to carry blessing with every rush and ripple. Forests are not just collection of trees. They are sanctuaries, cathedrals without walls, where the divine is felt in every rustling leaves. To the Bhutanese, nature is not outside of them, it is within them. Picture this, a farmer rises at dawn, his fields shimmering with dew, and distant chants of monks echoing from a hillside monastery. Above him, peaks catch the first fire of sunrise, their snowy crowns glowing in gold. In a moment, the farmer is not alone with his crops. He is in communion with the land, the mountains, and the sky. The daily rhythm, humble yet profound, reveals the quiet power of Bhutan's natural harmony. And yet, Bhutan is not frozen in time. It is balances tradition with modernity, carefully weaving electricity lines through valleys without scaring the view, and building routes that snakes gently around forested rather than cutting through their heart. It generates clean energy through hydropower, exporting it to neighbors while keeping its air fresh and its skies clear. The balance is rare, almost unthinkable. It is a century where most nations sacrifice beauty for speed and silence for noise. The story of Bhutan's nature is not just the story of landscape, it is the story of survival, identity, and hope. It is the story of a people who chose to measure progress not by the weight of their wallets, by the weight of their happiness. And happiness, they believe, cannot exist if rivers are poisoned, if forests are gone, or if mountains are scared. So, as we begin the journey into Bhutan's natural wonders, prepare to see more than just geography. Prepare to witness valleys that lie poems, mountains that guard secrets, animals that carry myths, and people who remind the world of a forgotten truth, that humanity and nature are not rivals but kin. And this is only the beginning. To understand Bhutan's magic, we must step deeper into its geography, its forests, its culture, and its future. Each chapter will take us closer to the heart of a kingdom that quietly protests with the world is busy losing. Bhutan's geography is like a vast, unfolding scroll of nature's most intricate artwork, where every curve of a valley and every ridge of a mountain seems pointed with deliberate care. This is a landlocked kingdom, tucked between two giants, India and China. Yet, its landscape makes it feel like a world apart, a secret realm carved by time and guarded by peaks that rise into the heavens. At first glance, Bhutan looks like a country of mountains, but in truth, it is a country of layers. Each altitude holds its own climate, its own ecosystem, and its own rhythm of life. In the south, the land stretches into subtropical plains where forests roam with cicadas and rivers carved bold valleys. Move northland, and the terrain climbs steeply into temperate forest, then higher still into alpine meadows, before finally reaching the icy embrace of the greater Himalayas, where peaks like Gangkhar Yeonsam, the world's tallest unclimbed mountain, stand as eternal sentinels. The mountains of Bhutan are not silent. They roar with avalanches in winter. They whisper with winds in spring, and they gleam under the soft glow of summer rain. Each peak has a story, and many are considered scared, believed to be the homes of guardian deities. That is why mountaineering above 6,000 meters is banned in Bhutan. The peaks are not for conquest, but for reverence. The unique respect has preserved their majesty, making them some of the most untouched giants in the Himalayas. Between these mountains lies valleys that feels like walls within walls. The Paro Valley, with its terraced rice fields and the iconic Tiger's Nest monastery clinging imposingly to the cliff, tells the story of harmony between human creativity and natural drama. The Punakha Valley, where two rivers embrace to form a fertile plain, blooms with jacaranda trees and nourishes some of the kingdom's most fertile farmland. Bhutan, often called the spiritual heartland of Bhutan, stretches with rolling hills and ancient temples, each one etching centuries of meditation and prayer. Rivers are Bhutan's lifeblood, waving through these valleys like silver threads. Fed by Himalayan glaciers, they surge with power, their turquoise water crashing against boulders, carving canyons, and feeding the plains. The Wangchu, the Mochu, and the Manas are more than waterways. They are scared forces, believed to cleanse, to bless, and to sustain. They are also Bhutan's gift to the future, as their currents generate clean hydropower, making the kingdom not just carbon neutral but carbon negative, a rare beacon of sustainability in today's world. The geography here shapes more than landscapes. It shapes lives. Villages cling to slopes, houses built with stone and timber, their whitewashed walls and wooden windows glowing under the mountain sun. Farmers move with the rhythm of seasons, planting rice in the valleys, barley in the higher fields. The herding yaks are alpine pastures. Every step of daily life is in conversation with the land. Every decision made with mountains, rivers, and weather as silent advisors. Yet, Bhutan's geography is not without challenge. The steep slopes make farming arduous, and landslides during monsoon can sever villages from the rest of the kingdom. But rather than bending nature to their will, the Bhutanese adapt with patience and resilience. Footpaths turn into lifelines. Suspension bridges sway over roaring rivers, and prayers etched into stones remind every traveler that hardship is part of harmony. What makes Bhutan's geography truly unique is not just its beauty, but its balance. Unlike many countries where valleys are drained for industry and rivers are dammed into silence, Bhutan allows its lands to breathe. Forests take thick on mountain slopes, protecting soil from erosion and sheltering countless species. Rivers run free, their power harnessed but their spirit unbroken. Mountains stand inviolate, their snowy crowns glistering with dignity. To journey through Bhutan, geography is to journey through contrast. Subtropical plains that feels like jungles, alpine meadows that blows with wildflowers, glaciers that glisten in eternal frost. It is to move through climates as if traveling through seasons in a single day. It is to realize that geography here is not just about land, it is about soul, about a country where nature and people still dance to the same rhythm. And as we leave the valleys and rivers behind in our story, we step into the hearts of Bhutan's greatest treasures, its forest and biodiversity. If the mountains are the bones of the kingdom, then the forests are its breath, and they hold secrets waiting to be uncovered. If Bhutan's mountains are its guardians and its rivers are its lifelines, then its forests are its soul. Step into a Bhutanese forest and you enter a world that feels ancient yet alive, sacred yet playful, silent yet bursting with song. Over 70% of Bhutan's land is forested, creating one of the most pristine green sanctuaries on earth. These forests are not just landscapes to admire, they are living, breathing beings that hold the kingdom together, ecologically, spiritually, and culturally. The air here carries a different weight. It's fresh, crisp, and tinged with the scent of pine, oak, and rhododendron. Every breath feels like a reminder that Bhutan is carbon negative, absorbing more carbon than it emits. This is not a slogan, it is a way of life protected by both policy and reverence. While elsewhere the forest line is pushed back by highways and cities, in Bhutan the forest is invited to stay, nurtured by laws and traditions that place nature above unchecked ambition. Wander through this forest and you will encounter a dazzling array of biodiversity. Bhutan lies in a biological corridor where the eastern Himalayas meet subtropical lowlands, creating ecosystems reach beyond imagination. Snow leopards poll silently in the alpine regions, their pale coats blending with rocky cliffs. Bengal tigers, unusually found at higher altitudes here, roam the dense jungles of the south. Red pandas, with their fiery fur and curious eyes, shuffle through bamboo groves, while golden lances swing through tree tops, their graceful leaves almost like dance. Birdsong fills the air as Bhutan is home to more than 700 bird species. From the majestic black-necked cranes that migrate to the Phobjika Valley each winter, to the teeny sunbirds that glitter like jewels among flowers. Each wing beat adds music to the landscape. In spring, the forests explode with color as rhododendron bloom in shades of red, pink, and white, turning hillside into a painter's dream. But forests of Bhutan are not only home of wildlife, they are sanctuaries of spirit. Many groves are considered sacred, protected not by fence but by faith. To cut down a tree in this space is unthinkable, for the Bhutanese believe deities dwell in the roots, the branches, and the streams that run beneath. This sacredness has preserved ecosystems that might otherwise have vanished, turning the entire country into a living temple of biodiversity. Forests also shape the daily lives of Bhutan's people. They provide herbs for medicine, timber for traditional homes, and mushrooms that are preserved in local cuisine. The majestic mushroom, for instance, is both a delicacy and an export. Yet, its collection is carefully managed so that abundance does not turn into exploitation. Farmers often walk deep into forested valleys to collect wild honey, their movements guided by respect for bees that sustain both crops and wilderness. In Bhutan, conservation is not a separate department, it is a way of life. National parks and wildlife sanctuaries cover over half the country, connected by biological corridors that allow animals to move freely from one protected area to another. This design, rare in the world, ensures that no species is trapped in isolation. A snow leopard can wander from the high peaks to the valleys without ever crossing a hostile border, and an elephant can move through subtropical forest without being blocked by fences. The world often speaks of climate change as an abstract threat, but in Bhutan it is a lived concern. Glaciers are retreating, rivers are swelling, and monsoon patterns are shifting. Yet, instead of despair, Bhutan responds with resilience, planting trees during community festivals, teaching children, yet every sapling is a promise to the future, and generating clean hydropower so that its forests never need to be burned for fuel. The forest of Bhutan reminds us of something profound, that prosperity and preservation do not have to be enemies. They show that a nation can thrive without silencing the calls of birds or erasing the paws of tigers. They whisper an ancient truth that the world has forgotten, that human survival depends not on conquering nature but on living with it. As we leave the forest behind in our journey, we step into another layer of Bhutan's magic. The people who live in harmony with its landscape, their culture, tradition, and daily rhythms are so entwined with nature that one cannot be understood without other. To understand Bhutan's nature, one must first understand its people, for here the two cannot be separated. In Bhutan, culture is not something practiced apart from the environment. It is born from it, sustained by it, and dedicated to protecting it. Every song, every festival, every prayer whispered into the wind carries the rhythm of the mountains, the rivers, and the forest. The Bhutanese way of life is deeply rooted in Buddhist philosophy, which teaches respect for all living beings. This belief is not abstract, it is woven into the smallest action of daily life. Farmers work carefully so as not to step on insects, Monks chant bleaching for animals as well as humans, and families plant trees as offering to ancestors. The idea that humans are stewards rather than masters of the earth gives Bhutanese culture a unique gentleness, one that feels increasingly rare in today's world. This spiritual outlook extends to how Bhutan develops. When new routes are built, care is taken to carve around ancient trees rather than cutting them down. When hydropower projects are planned, studies ensure that rivers can continue to flow freely for fish and communities. Even urban centers like Thimphu, the capital, avoid to choking sprawl of concrete jungle, instead allowing green space of breathe life into the city. Progress here is measured not by the number of skyscrapers but by the preservation of harmony. Festivals in Bhutan are another window into this connection. The annual arrival of black-necked cranes in the Khobjikha Valley is not just a natural event. It is celebrated with dance, songs, and rituals. Villagers gather to honor the cranes, believing them to be scared messengers. Similarly, harvest festivals are not only about crops but about giving thanks to the lands, the rain, and the mountains that made abundance possible. In this way, culture becomes a bridge between gratitude and survival. Even Bhutan's homes reflect this philosophy. Traditional houses built from rammed earth, timber, and stones are designed not to dominate the land but to blend with it. Their sloped roofs shade heavy monsoon rains. Their carved wooden windows open wide to mountain breeze, and their walls glow softly against the green backdrop of valleys. Living in such shapes, surrounded by prayers, flags fluttering in the wind, every family is constantly reminded to their bond with the natural world. Perhaps the most striking example of this harmony is Bhutan's national vision of gross national happiness, that is GNH, unlike gross domestic product, which measured only economic growth. GNH values environmental health, cultural preservation, and spiritual well-being. This is not a slogan, it is a policy, ensuring that decisions at every level consider the impact on both people and nature. Where most nations ask, how much can we take from the land? Bhutan asks, how much can we give back to it? And yet, this harmony is not effortless. Bhutanese people face real challenges: harsh winter in the highlands, limited arable land in steppe valleys, and the threat of natural disasters. But their resilience lies in community. Neighbors gather to repair landslide damaged paths. Monks organize prayers for safe harvest, and entire villages unite to replant forest. In Bhutan, survival is never an individual task. It is a collective act of care for both people and place. What emerges from this relationship with a truth that resonates far beyond Bhutan. When humans honor the land sustains them in return. It is a lesson that modern societies drawing in concert and choking on pollution separately need to remember. As we prepare to close this journey, our eyes turn to Bhutan's future and the lessons it offers to the wider world. How does this small kingdom continue to protect its nature in the face of global change? And what wisdom can the rest of us learn from its example? Bhutan may be small in size, but its vision for the future is vast, offering lessons to the entire planet. While much of the world races toward unchecked growth, Bhutan moves deliberately, asking with each step. Will this protect our forest? Will this preserve our rivers? Will this honor our ancestors and safeguard our children? These questions guide its path, ensuring that nature remains at the center of progress. Climate change is the greatest challenge Bhutan faces, as melting glaciers, swell rivers, and unpredictable weather threatens crops. Yet Bhutan responds not with despair but with determination. Community-led reforestation projects plant thousands of trees each year. Renewable hydropower ensures clean energy flows not just with Bhutan but also across borders. Education teaches young Bhutanese that every bird, every insect, every stream is part of their identity. In this way, Bhutan prepares for the future without betraying the past. For the world, Bhutan is more than a destination. It is a mirror. It reflects what humanity could be if we remembered how to live with the earth rather than against it. It proves that prosperity does not require destroying forests, that happiness is not found in endless consumption, and that true wealth is measured in clean air, flowing rivers, and thriving communities. Bhutan whispered to us all, another way is possible. And so, our journey through Bhutan's nature comes to a close. But the story does not end here. The mountains still rise in silence, and rivers still carve their eternal paths, and the forest still breathes with life. What remains is your choice, to let this story fade or to carry it with you, as a reminder that the harmony of Bhutan can inspire harmony in your own life. If you felt the magic of Bhutan's untouched beauty, if you discovered inspiration in its forests and rivers, then join me in exploring more wonders like this across the world. This is just one chapter of a much larger adventure, and together we can uncover landscapes and stories that awaken the spirit. So, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Famous Frontier, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a journey into the extraordinary. Every click supports the exploration of places that remind us why our planet is worth protecting. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep wandering, and keep protecting the frontier we all share, our Earth.